Good evening and welcome to War Thunder. I am Old Dead Man. We are taking a look at the new update. Looks like they're actually calling it 2.2 on this dev server, which makes the live server going to be 2.3. So get ready for this coming up. To be honest, I'm surprised they're going to be cramming this in between the Operation Winter event, the Twitch streams, all the other things they've got going on. Trying to cram in even a smaller update right before the end of the year or immediately after is a surprise. In fact, I would probably contend with Operation Winter happening. The update itself will launch probably mid-January, which would mean it's not really a patch for 2020, but a 2021. Still, they're going to cram another one in. Let's see what we got going on here. Of course, we've got the A7D, which there's already been a dev server on. So let's just take a look at its weapon options here. Oh my heavens, look at all those beauties. I just love a good 6 2,000 pounders. Nice. 12 1,000 pounders, or 14 750 pounders, or 24 500 pounders. Those will be nice. They've got the new AIM-9Js on here, so those will be interesting to look at. Those specs for those. And it looks like the 750 pounders are finally getting their normal varieties with the explosive mass, not the AP varieties they had a while back. And of course, you got the FFAR Mighty Mouses, which some people really love those. And with this penetration, they're probably pretty effective top down. I don't know. I never really did have a feel for the rockets. You can load a couple of 30 millimeter Gao cannons in pods. Yep, looks like they're going to have some fun with these, or just a full loadout of 20 millimeters. Now, the penetration difference between the 20 millimeters and the 30 millimeters, according to the numbers, they're basically equal. You're not really going to penetrate any more with the 30 mils than you will with the 20 mils. A lot of options here, and it looks like you lose nothing by carrying those the air-to-air ordnance. You got all the same loadout options as far as number of bombs and things like that with the air-to-air missiles as you do without them. So, unless you're specifically looking to lose that extra weight, which, to be honest, why would you want to? Because the AIM-9s are really good in ground RB. I've had a lot of fun exploding airplanes with them. So keep that in mind. I would certainly, if I was taking my choice, I would definitely take a loadout with a mixed multi-purpose load. A7D, let's see what numbers we're looking at here. 1,110 kilometers per hour at sea level with a max altitude of 12,000 meters. Nice. 37.1 second turn time, not a surprise to be honest. 42.3 meter per second rate of climb. All things you'd expect. So let's go ahead and take this in for a test flight. Now there's already a dev blog on the A7D, so nothing to worry about there. Yes, I didn't load any ordnance. I'm just trying to get a quick feel for it here. Beefy. Looks very beefy. Now the model still has the tail hook, and I'm assuming that's going to remain. Got off in a reasonable amount of runway, so no power issues there. Roll rates, mediocre, I'd say. Not as strong as some, but not as bad as some others. Let's try not to hit the ground there in the middle of it. That would be a bad thing. Up and over. Oops, yeah, don't blow my flaps off. That'd be a bad start. The reaction time on the Gao cannon is excellent. It's only got the slightest delay now. For a while there, you kind of had to anticipate it because of how long the delay was. But as soon as I click, it's like just a little pause, almost like lag rather than the mechanical limitation. No Wepper afterburner. Yeah, I'd say decent handling. Oops, I hit reload. Bad timing. Let's just lag my maneuvers for another 30 seconds or so. I want to see it blow this MiG-15 out of the sky. A little slower, a little slower. Right about there. At a half kilometer, it's almost can't miss range. Of course, I'll probably find a way to miss. Lag my turn just a touch. Oh yeah, takes good care of the enemy aircraft. Okay, great. Looking good. I like the model, and handles pretty decently with all that ordnance. I think it'll do a good job in ground RB. All right, let's take a look at the next one up. Is the PBM-1, the Mariner. They have been people have been looking for this for a long time. Let's take a quick look at its modifications here. Two 1000s, four 500 pounders, four 1000 pounders, six 500s, six 250s, or 12 100 pounders for default. I think that if you're bombing bases, the four 1000 pounders are probably going to be the preferred loadout. I just don't think at this BR, it's a 2.0. The Mariner was an early entrant into the U.S. service. It was actually entered in service on the 1st of September 1940. They were used for neutrality patrols in the Atlantic, including operations from Iceland. They were used on anti-submarine patrols after Pearl Harbor, sinking the first German U-boat, U-158, on 30th of June 1942. They sunk a total of 10 U-boats during World War II. They were also used in the Pacific, operating from Saipan, Okinawa, Iwo Jima, and the Southwest Pacific. They were even used in long patrol missions during the Korean War. And wow, that is a long time to keep a flying boat operating. They were last retired in July of 1956. Hey, not bad. That's a pretty good history there. It's not going to be particularly fast. It's because it's a flying boat. It's decent for the BR, but not tremendous. So let's go ahead and take it for a test flight. Do those floats look kind of abbreviated to you, like somebody chopped them off? Let's see, I'm thinking takeoff speed probably around 130 kilometers an hour. Nope, not yet. There's 140. Up there we go. 145 and she's in the air. Oof. Yeah, yep. This is PBY levels of maneuverability here. Let's try not to crash it. Okay, level her out. Line up with that. Let's go for the take first. Ooh, I like the Bombays. Okay, these are 100-pounders. I gotta hit pretty much directly in order to do anything. Nice explosions. Let's roll it around and take care of the other vehicle. Oh my. Yeah, this thing... Well, you know, you would never fly it in real life like I just did. That is for certain.
He's got the shield. Go here. Now, melee. He's dead. You got him.
Oh, those turrets are going to have dead places all over the place. Yeah. Defending this one's going to be a pistol. All they got to do is get just a little bit right there. Okay, something comes in. Okay, it looks like there's just enough crossover that you might be able to defend yourself. It's going to be a pistol, though. The guns are definitely slower reacting.
Totally over-prepared for the potion, but still. Strength, regeneration, speed,
Yeah, any pilot worth his salt is going to just kind of meander back and forth in this area right here, where the gun has to traverse up and over.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the one. That was what the original was. This could be safe.
There is the tail gun. You know, that should be interesting. All right.
Yeah, I prepared a lot of potions specifically. Also, I did all that stuff. I had to take it on alone just to get to us. That's what I did. Bosses are very dangerous.
Whoops, that's... Yeah, I'm going to crash. I'm going to crash. Ah! I was trying to drain energy, but it was a little bit more energy than I was intending to drain. Oh, she does not like the slow speed handling, though.
I haven't filtered yet.
Oh, those, yeah, she does not like this at all. Yeah, once you're on the water, you're going to be a sitting duck. She does not respond quickly to any commands. Okay, that's enough of the Mariner. Let's take a look at what's next. F-84s. Oh my heavens, they're giving F-84Fs to 4 countries. Let's jump down here. Now the F is the hi Rising, how's it going? Hi Rising, how's it going?
Not bad. What are you up to, bud?
Dev server.
Oh, is it up?
It is up.
That would explain the update.
Yes.
Anything new?
Well, I'm just actually reviewing, just barely started, so I've already looked at the A7D, the PBM-1, and I was just going into the F-84F.
Especially with tactical advantage.
Do you want some company quickly?
You know I always enjoy your company when we talk about these things. Jump right on in here.
I'm saying quickly because we are actually looking at jumping on 7 Days to Die, but
Understood. But we can go get through this pretty fast. This patch is small.
I feel like
they can get started without us, and then we can, whilst we quickly do this. Right, I'll go just tell Fusion and Lapo to get their butts on.
Sounds good.
User left your channel.
All right, F-84F. Anyway, F-84F is a swept wing version of the F-84. We're already quite familiar with the F-84 in game just because of that. It's across multiple countries. I'm kind of surprised to see it over underneath the F-3D. Somewhat of an odd choice in my opinion, but we'll see how that turns out. 8.7 BR. Can it really support that? 31.2 second turn time, 950 kilometers per hour. Let's compare that to another 8.7 F86. 1074, 24 seconds. Okay, 1106. That's slower, and it does not maneuver as well. Kind of not a surprise. It's an
User
F-84F.
joined your channel.
Welcome back.
No, it's just
Now the F-84F is spread across 4 nations, like I said. Let's take a quick look at the U.S. one, and then I'll jump over and catch it in the other countries just to look at the difference in loadouts. America's got the 4250s, 6 HVARs and 6 HVARs, which would be 12 HVARs, Gaijin. 4 500-pounders, 4 1,000-pounders, or 2 2,000-pounders as ordnance options. Pretty straightforward. Let's see. Shoots 50 cals. No surprises there. Let's take it for a quick test flight. Rising, you jumping onto the dev server pretty quick here?
I will be on in probably about 5 minutes, maybe.
Sounds good.
Just analyzing files.
Yeah, no problem. The F-84F spawned in the air. It did not require a takeoff, so they must think it's. They must have it with the same basic settings as the F-84B, even though it's a swept wing version.
Is it splash potions? I have the soul ball.
actually don't make it so fall. No, don't make it flash because
Roll rate's decent. Handle's pretty good. Of course, I'll bet you it won't speed up very fast
those are
either.
gonna be splash potions.
Are you holding all those or?
You have your own instant pop potions. I've got one.
Okay,
They'll be right here.
I'll take 2.
Overall, the handling's okay. Gonna give it a few rolls and turns here. Bet you we can. Oh, it didn't blow the flaps off immediately. I am, to be honest, quite shocked. And you know, it's holding its energy quite well. Go ahead, Rising.
I was going to say, which is this the new Sabre?
F-84, the Thunder.
Oh.
The name of it just went out of my head. It's basically a Thunder Streak. There we go. That's right. I should have remembered that because they actually made a turbojet propeller version, experimental, called the Thunder Screech because the propellers were supersonic. The noise was so horrendous it would disrupt the radar equipment in the nearby control tower, and it would actually make men who stepped into the waves of constant sonic booms sick and disoriented, and they would throw up.
Do you know what they should have done? Just flown those over Russian radar installations when they wanted to fly the UCs over. lost so many U2s.
Yes, let's double the amount of aircraft that are involved, just so we can reduce the loss of, you know.
Well, let's look at it this way. If they had flown those by the radar stations wouldn't have detected the U2 spy planes, and they wouldn't have been shot down. There you go. I'm just
They would have been too busy shooting down the F-84s. You are absolutely correct.
exactly. But at the same time, the people who are trying to shoot down the Thunder Screech would be violently throwing up. So.
Oh, yes, of course. All makes perfect sense.
I don't know. You can't see.
I'm actually reading up on it now whilst I just quickly update, because I'm just wondering if they ever actually did do simulated dogfights with it, and if...
As I recall, no. I think it only flew a few times. And, whoops, I'm about to crash this thing.
But. Blimmin' hell. On the ground run-ups, the prototype could be heard 25 miles away.
They have a bug on the parachute on the F-84F.
Oh? Wait.
Yeah, yes, it deployed to the front of the airplane. It was like almost covering the nose.
Wait, what? The actual...
No, the in-game model. The in-game model.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm saying the F-84F has a drag chute.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it drag shooted right up the nose instead of out of the back of the aircraft.
Because I want a good laugh as well, but...
Are you on yet, or are you still downloading?
User joined your
Still
channel.
downloading. Not long now.
Okay.
Hey, Kasu. Everyone's jumped on already. We're just quickly sorting sorting out the devs over here, and then we'll be on.
Should I go to the 7 Days to Die?
Yep.
User left your channel.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that one.
Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to take a quick run through the F-84s and the other ones. F-84Fs. Can't talk today.
What other nations get them? Let's hear this then.
Germany gets an F-84F, Italy gets one, and France gets two, actually. One of them a premium.
You mean to say that China doesn't get an F-84F?
No, they get the V-11G. That's all they're getting. There's the F-84F. And it has the exact same ordnance options as the U.S. one. Let's see. Italy, probably going to be the case in all of them. And it could be either be temporary or it might be the, same ones for Italy and France. The Frenchies, they've got two versions.
So, my download's going to be done in 20 minutes. Which is not bad to say it's 10 gig,
Yeah.
but my brother's hogging the internet with blooming Call of Duty Warzone.
Of course he is.
Hey Scott, I know it's cliche, but I want to be the first one to go to the endpoint.
Okay, now I'm curious. F-84F, Thunderstreak, 29.9. Let's go to US. 30. The US version of the plane has a slower turn time than the French version. German is the same one as the US. Let's check Italy.
So let's go.
And Italy's the same as the US. But the French versions are turn better.
Alright. Let me get OBS.
Not quite sure why, but it is what it's showing on the numbers. Understanding that this is all preliminary, blah, 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 normal dev server stuff. Since I'm working aviation already, let's flip over to Great Britain,
No, don't.
who is getting the Buccaneer S2 and a Hornet Mark 1.
Record the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
By the way, they left a fairly significant gap underneath Germany's Air editions between after the F-84F. So I don't know that that indicates anything, but they did leave a gap.
Right, I'm not sure whether it's me lagging because I'm downloading or whether it's you, but that was a bit staticky. All I heard was they left a gap.
After Germany's F-84F, they left a gap in the dev server, the patch notes. There we go. It doesn't necessarily indicate that anything's coming there. It could just be a rendering issue, or they may have left some extra space on accident,
Or for a future patch.
or for future update. Yeah, into the patch notes. I don't know. There could have been something there, and they removed it. The Buccaneer's got an interesting looking tail, doesn't it?
Okay, recording.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Looking at one,
Those air brakes.
Him somehow.
what on the Buccaneer?
Yeah, have you seen them yet?
I haven't. I don't have my Brits high enough to actually fly it.
I don't know how I'm looking at
Oh, that's a shame. So
Ooh, I love it.
the air brake on the Buccaneer is unusual in the fact that instead of it being like wing flaps and stuff like that, the whole the tail section that extends past the actual rudder
Yes,
that part splits in half.
that explains its weird shape. Got it.
Yes, that there is just an air brake. It opens up, and I believe there's a drag chute in there as well.
I could see that combination. Also, would have the advantage of actually deflecting the
Use
thrust
your potions.
to slow down the aircraft too. So it wouldn't just be air effect.
So there you go.
Okay, so
A large air brake was built into the tail cone of the aircraft, hydraulically operated. It formed two leaves that could be opened into the airstream to quickly decelerate the aircraft. It was chosen as it was highly effective in the dive attack profile that the Buccaneer was intended to perform, as well as effectively balancing out induced drag from operating the BLC system.
Interesting. What are these RN rockets?
Yeah, it's the last one.
Let's go to ordnance.
So you kind of know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Buccaneers ordnance options. They've got a lot of the standard stuff: AIM-9Bs, RP3s, bullpups, 1,000-pounders, 500-pounders. The only one that's unusual is this RN rocket, and it looks like it's in the same kind of a pod as like a Mighty Mouse or something like that.
Right, okay, Oh,
okay, Scott. Hit, there's still
I
another.
believe there'll be a... I'm not sure about this,
Check.
Is there another?
but I believe it's a anti-ship
On that one?
rocket,
Alright, Sean.
Could be.
because the Buccaneer's original role was for the Royal Navy as a attack aircraft. That's what its original development was, and then the RAF got the hold of it and
Get
also
down there, get down the
used it
wall.
for multi-purpose. But in actual in actual real life, it was deployed using well, it had a mix of iron bombs and rockets at close range very early on, but
Slip on.
it was then given the Martel AJ anti-ship missile, which was then
Yeah.
upgraded to the Sea Eagle anti-ship missile. But both of those are self-guided fire and forget. Well, the Sea Eagle is. The Martel is guided, but you got to lock onto the ship and guide it in. But it's basically a beam rider. But that's obviously they can't do that in game.
Right.
Still have slip on it.
All
So I
right.
guess, and I'm not sure yet. The RN would be the original
We did it!
anti-ship rockets
Yo!
that it was originally given.
Well, showing the Buccaneer S2 as a 9.3 aircraft with a max speed of 1,084 kilometers per hour, max altitude of 15,000 meters, a 34.3 second turn time, 30.7 meter per second rate of climb. It doesn't strike me as really being 9.3 BR material, unless those. Well, no, not even those. It's just a different type of rocket. Seems a little high for what it can
Right, I
carry.
think it's me. I think it's me because you were lagging for quite a bit of that.
Let's go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Anything else we need to do here?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Buccaneer S2 is listed as 9.3 BR. Seems a bit high for what it is.
I don't know. It's still got the does it have any gun pods?
Yeah, but we also had a.
Do you know if on its ordnance loadout it's got any gun pods?
It isn't listing any gun pods.
Right, because originally there was an intended gun pod pack that was twin Aidens, kind of like what the Lightning's gun pod pack is underneath. If you didn't know, the Lightnings never actually had a gun pack. They were originally equipped with just 2 air-to-air missiles.
Oh yeah.
For its role of interceptor. Then they added a gun pack modification which slotted in underneath the cockpit. Anyways, they was working on something like that for the Buccaneer early on in its development, but it was abandoned, so it never actually got a gun. I was just wondering if Gaijin would have messed up and given it a gun pack. I mean, I wouldn't have complained, but
The other thing to keep in mind is that instead of listing it as a jet bomber, they've listed it as a quote naval aircraft. It is in the jet bomber line or the bomber line, but it's not actually showing as a jet bomber. So they might need to reclassify that to jet bomber or something like that, or naval bomber or something along those lines.
they do. I think they do need to sort that out, because with the fact that this thing is not going to have any guns, unless you're going to pack the rockets on and go head on with the people and try and rocket them in the face and be a very less effective F-89D, then you're not going to have a good time. And if you've got to take off from the airfield, you're going to have even worse of a time, given the fact that you're 9.3 and you can't go supersonic. And
Also
you're gonna be
agreed.
facing definitely going to be facing supersonic jets. If you do get lucky, you get downed, you're still not going to be the fastest on the field. Viters can go faster, as fast as you, if not slightly faster, and they get a bomber spawn, so they're already going to have the advantage over you. And the later model Viteur gets the Viteur A model gets the 30 mils. So already that's a head-on advantage.
Well, it does have at least access to the AIM-9B, and it does have ordnance options that include AIM-9Bs and ground attack ordnance. So it's not entirely defenseless, but it's AIM-9Bs. You have to catch people by surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, AIM-9Bs, I'd say that, I don't know, 9.3 just seems a little bit on the steep side, but at the same time, I can't say stick at 8.7 because
of what it would face at the 8.0 range, yeah.
I feel like the acceleration. I feel like the acceleration on that is going to make it like a Viteur when it gets down tiered. Back when
Right.
the Viteur first came out. I feel like that's what would happen if you stuck at A7. Maybe it might do fine at 9.0 alongside the Viteur, because the AIM-9Bs aren't anything anymore. AIM-9Bs are very easy to dodge. And a lot more aircraft are coming out with flares now.
All right, I'm moving on to the Hornet Mark 1 Premium 5.7 BR. Looks
Well,
like...
I have 6 minutes left.
All right, you'll be catching up with me in short order here then. It does carry secondary weapons, RP-3s, and bombs. So some of the bombs are AP Mark 1s and 2s, and the others are regular 2,001, or sorry, 1,000 pounds.
Rockets?
AP Mark 1? Oh, is that rockets? Yeah, that's rockets.
Yeah, I was gonna say the AP Mark 1, AP Mark 2 rockets are just solid shot rockets. They're not. They don't have any explosive payload. Ironically, they are very, very good at ammo racking tanks. I'm not even joking. You out hit an ammo with that, and it's like 100% ammo rack. Anytime I've hit ammo with that, it's always ammo racked. The downside is trying to hit the ammo,
Right.
especially on that thing, and especially on the other aircraft like Brigand and stuff like that. Your wings are very far out, which means it's even harder to pinpoint with those rockets unless you are very skilled. And even if you are very skilled, you're still asking for the perfect conditions, and you're never going to get the perfect conditions. You might get them once in a blue moon. So trying to pinpoint that ammo rack. So it's like the least used rocket in the game. It's used less than the H-Fars. And the H-Fars are shit.
Yeah, but the H-bars, they're basically part of a standard package on a U.S. aircraft. You lose nothing by taking them, basically, and gain at least some more shots at the enemy with them. You're not displacing something else that's more effective. Put it that way.
Yeah, you definitely gain explosive power against open tops.
Hornet takes off very nicely, smartly even. I would say handles like a typical heavy fighter. Bombs and rockets are positioned far out on the wings, which are going to make them harder to accurately place. On the other hand, if you're going across the direction of travel for a tank, it might actually give you an advantage. Thousand-pounders are just as accurate as always, so just as good as always. Yeah, I don't like the rockets like normal. Yeah, for 5.7, it'll probably do pretty decent. It's certainly not a agile airplane. It's decent, but not like amazing for a heavy fighter-ish type aircraft. I would say it'll be a very good option for ground RB. Sayonara, tree. Wahahaha. Bloop. Okay, the explosions are still really pretty. Alright, that takes us to China's V-11G, which I can guarantee I've done nothing with my Chinese, so let's go see if I can even find it.
We are in survival. Now we have. I told you the only thing stopping us because we were driving the balance. I told you. No, it was.
V-11 Attacker. There it is. 1.7 BR, 341 kilometers per hour, 22.9 second turn time, and a 4.5 meter per second rate of climb, so that's slow. It looks kind of like a, looks familiar. What does this look like? What is it? Just a single 500 pounder or two 250 pounders. Pretty light duty on the Attacker front, even at 1.7 BR.
Yeah.
See, F-84, F-84, F-84. That takes us to Sweden. The Saab 105G and the Saab 105 OE Premium.
Just one.
Okay. Well, we just beat the Minecraft Ninja Dragon for the first time ever.
8.0.
Right, sorry about that. I did not hear anything you said because my brother came in.
No problem. I was just talking about the V-11G, finished with that. Looked at the Hornet, finished with that. The next country with any new aircraft is Sweden with their Saab 105G and 105 OE.
Killed the winner and the Ender Dragon the same day.
Yeah, literally. Never in survival Minecraft have we ever done that before. Neither. I mean, you know.
RB-24J air-to-air missiles. Are you familiar with them?
I actually.
RB what, sorry?
RB-24J air-to-air missiles. I'm not.
Sharp as 10
Or
million.
the...
Swedish.
Yeah. They're on the Draken and the do the 832 have them?
Let me see. Well, the A32A doesn't.
Just waiting for the credits to finish.
You have we kind of owe it. We're going to watch the credits.
105G has a max speed of 929 kilometers per hour, a turn time of 27.3 seconds, rate of climb of 33.2 meters per second, and carries two 30mm cannons.
Well, hey, download Sean.
Woohoo! The yeah, I don't have
I
a.
love my new internet.
Glad you got yourself some nice internet there.
No, we just put Cat6 cables through in the walls. So now I'm hooked directly into the router instead of using a blimmin' TP link.
Yeah, that'll make a
Use
pretty
my
big
TP
difference.
link for phone Wi-Fi, because I can't get any Wi-Fi signal up in my room.
Mark said he wasn't.
Okay, let's see. What nation are we on?
Sweden, Saab 105.
Very done over it, done then.
On the aircraft side, I'm going to go back and take care of ground vehicles and discuss helicopters in just a few moments here.
That was only a few minutes.
Okay.
Fight.
Oh, do we have new helicopters coming in?
Italy is getting a little baby helicopter tree.
Because we were prepared.
Oh, okay. Alright, so Sweden, aviation. What be we looking at?
The Saab 105s, they're at 8.0 BR.
Oh, yeah, full
One's a premium, one's a.
Oh, yes.
Uh,
I already love the look of this
we did not
because
use that in TNT.
it's
We brought that.
essentially the evolution of the SK60B, and I loved the SK60B. And I can test fly this thing.
I managed to. I know.
I'm test flying
I know
the
how good
premium
that
right now.
Meds are against the Ender Dragon. I just didn't use
Oh
them
yeah,
this
that's
time.
actually a better one
Yes.
because that will have everything.
I'm going to-
Test flight. Are you trying the new air-to-air missiles?
I'm going to use
Not yet. I'm just doing a test flight right now.
We're not pros, but we way over prepared for this.
we have so many potions.
Right, well I'm going to load up those missiles then. Because you can take the missiles and the gun pods. So,
And the gun pods are pretty good.
nice, quick.
He gets off the runway in a hurry. Yep.
Yep.
Shout out to the three realized.
Now, from what I know, should be essentially an SK-60B with better engines and stronger wings, allowing it. That's the reason why it can carry the gun pods as well as either rockets or the air-to-air missiles. Or you can have assortment of bombs, which is what the SK-60 was lacking, because you can only have either gun pods, rockets, or bombs. You can't have any sort of mix between the two. And you don't get air-to-air missiles. So,
What'd you get?
Yeah, it gets right off the line in a hurry. I like the responsiveness of it.
I just love the roll rate. It's so just from this test flight on the premium one, it seems to have
Okay, yeah, go ahead, I'm listening.
it seems to have maintained a lot of the handling from the SK-60B. One thing I would say is it might have lost a bit of it on its turn time. But that would probably be because of the added weight. But other than that, it's still really, really nice. And I just noticed something. Do you know if you look through the air vents, you can actually see the turbine. If you like turn your camera and roll.
Oh yeah, you can just see the end of the turbine. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, it looks like the RB-24Js are shorter range air-to-air missiles.
They've got some range to them. I mean, a short-range air-to-air missile to me is an SRAM. I mean, that thing can't even travel 2 kilometers in a straight line. Well, it travels 2 kilometers in a straight line, but if you're chasing someone, then you're not going to hit them unless you're like 1 kilometer to 1.5. You know?
Yep.
I'm actually going to lock on here. Let's just see. Yeah, I think you're right. They do seem to self-destruct.
Or their engines just don't fire for all that long, which means that they immediately stop decelerating after that point.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the stats for it. So we have 2.5 launch range is 18 kilometers. Now I think it's more of the case of the engine stops because it accelerates to 2.5. Mach 2.5.
It does its acceleration fast and early, and then glides the rest of the way.
Yeah, I just
Blooming hell, 20G overload.
good job.
You're definitely killing people with this thing.
Yeah.
This thing can
Flaps aren't particularly
I
strong.
don't feel bad for not doing it with
I mean, they're decent, but not like extremely strong.
Told you killed the wither first. It was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've definitely lost a bit
Yeah.
of the turn time
Again.
compared
that's okay.
to the
I wasn't
SK-60,
super
but
interested
you've
in
gained
burning.
a lot
Yeah,
of
and the
speed.
overworld.
The acceleration's
Yeah.
better, and you can now bring more,
Hey Dad, I took your advice about
just more.
No. It was under.
What?
Nice.
took your advice just about chilling for a little bit
Yeah.
upstairs instead of actually sleeping, and that
Yeah.
helps.
It does.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I know. We did,
Air brakes aren't particularly effective.
Choosing it would have been
Yeah. I mean, you're still losing out on the fact that you can't bring the gun pods with some sort of ground pounding ordnance, but you do gain the ability to have 2 air-to-air missiles as well as the ground ATGMs.
So we were extremely powerful with our weapons and armor.
So it's technically cheating it.
Um,
I just really
compared
like
to the SK-60B, which can only take the ground ATGMs or can only take the 20 mils, it just gives you that ability to
A little more flexibility.
defend. Well, no, it's more of the case of you can defend yourself, because flying the SK-60B, I've got mine spaded now, flying it in ground RB missions, as well as flying against it in ground RB,
But
one of the annoying things is you either come across pilots who bring just the ATGMs, hit 2 targets, and then they're RTB.
Right.
I've done this myself. One of the downsides is that you are, when you're returning to base, if you've got anyone following you, that's it. You've just got to get back to that base, and then you've got to loiter around your airfield and just wait for them to get bored and go away, or try and do something stupid and get you, and then you just got to dodge them on the airfield. That's not a problem because you can maneuver the hell out of the SK-60B. But it's just the fact that you can't fight back against them. With the Saab 105, those ATGMs, especially since they're going to be able to turn 20G at
after I'm
8.0,
done watching Minecraft credits.
because you got to remember this, it's an 8.0
Yeah, it's long.
aircraft.
Because I wanted to see it all the way through. Whenever
Yeah,
I see credits, I
it's
watch it all the
insane.
way through.
Although, looking at it now, I think, what are those, RBJ-24s, and then looking at the normal one,
It deserves
Ah,
to be
okay.
watched.
Yeah. Yeah, the normal one gets the RB-24Js as well. So just the ability to actually
Yeah.
use those is going to be insane. Although looking at it, the normal one might even be better because it can carry rock and cannons, or bombs and air-to-air missiles. It's got more loadout selection on the normal Tech Tree variant than the premium.
Gotcha.
Isaac de la Vega.
So,
Okay, well, I am moving on to the ground vehicles.
okay, for Sweden.
Nope, I did all the aircraft, and now I'm doing all the very few ground vehicles.
For which nation is that? Nothing. Sweden.
Germany, SDKFC 251, 21. SPA line, I think it's rank 2.
Oh. Oh, okay, we got half track. And it's got 315mm weapons. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. I feel like this is going to be oddly satisfying driving around in it for some reason. Like, you know, this is like Germany during World War II, when you're not in a Tiger, or a Jagdtiger, or a Maus, you're in one of these.
Yeah, right.
I know,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
but I wanted.
It definitely has elevation issues.
Oh yes, this is going to be my new favourite AA gun to use for the
Until it's time.
Germans.
Oh, it's probably because family shares and they will.
So, looking at it in test drive at the moment, there does not seem to be crew modelled in. So,
Yep, no crew.
Oh wow. Oh, Dad, if you only saw what I had going on in my test server right now.
What's that?
What was that, Mark?
So, do you know the bomber, the twin-engine bomber aircraft that flies around? I think it's a Russian Ur or something like that.
Yeah, uh-huh.
The right to remain
That was flying around. Just kept on shooting it a bit. Set its port engine on fire, and
I can hear it.
it's yeah, set its port engine on fire and let it burn. It carried on flying, so I turned around later to look at it, and it's gone all the way around the back of me, and then was turning, like listing hard to its left side. So it started angling towards me as it was coming in to crash, and it crashed in the field next to me.
Nice.
Looked absolutely amazing, like something you see in a freaking film or something, where you see the bombers coming, they shoot down a bomber, and then it turns towards them to suicide.
I just heard this stupid.
Oh, we're in a game.
But
What the heck?
no, this thing looks. Well, for starters, you've got 3 guns, you've got 930 rounds, which is 310 rounds per gun in the turret, which is a lot more than the Wirbelwind or the Ostwind in a magazine before you have to reload. Which, to be honest,
I just destroyed an
the
engineer.
Ostwind you don't really need to worry about, but this thing, but the Wirbelwind, and then you've got the fire rate of this thing, you know?
I'm on blue. Why?
It's
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just looking forward to seeing how this
That
is
is
actually
a
going to do on the live
fair
servers.
assessment. What do you?
Well, the penetration on the default ammunition is not enough to effectively take out most vehicles, but it'll take out tracks and barrels.
Like 3,400.
3.3. It'll take out some lighter stuff.
You'll be able to go through most things. You'll be able to go through the ass of a Sherman.
Yeah, but what can't go through the back end of a Sherman?
Oh, I've just noticed something. Gun elevation.
Yeah, I mentioned that. The elevation's restricted.
Oh, get back here.
So,
I really like this game.
I feel like this gun is not fully...
Oh, also, I really want to play Cyberpunk 2077.
What the hell is this guy doing?
It runs on Linux.
Yeah, I know, and it's 60.
Okay, the AI aircraft just went into a hard right bank for some reason,
You don't want it?
and then just slowly spun itself into the air. I don't know, I didn't even, like...
Oh yeah,
I didn't take
have to
anything
wait
off it.
because
I
even
don't
on Linux, I read the
But,
TV. It's got
I
sound
still think
problems
there's a lot
right
of
now,
work in
so
progress on that, so I don't think we can take anything for granted.
Yep.
Yeah, but it improved in like the
Because
first
one
3
thing I
days.
did notice was that even though it's saying that you get 310 rounds in each gun, I reloaded when there was about 600 rounds left.
This demo came to try and destroy this.
So, yeah.
And I
Yeah, it seems like it was reloading one gun at a time instead of reloading all the guns. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Turning
here 1 second.
after, whilst you're moving seems very, very quickly. Turning on the spot is actually quite quick as well. Like just
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, as far as maneuverability goes, it wasn't bad.
speed's nothing major, but
Then I need to turn down.
I mean, I'm just really impressed with its actual turning speed. If you like put a little bit of forward into that, so that you're moving like 6 kilometers an hour, and then you just start a left turn, you can move. You're moving. You're shifting.
Oh, yeah.
Encounter, and I destroyed the demo.
All right, and moving on to the next ground vehicle. It'll be the Japanese STA-3.
I am. I'm trying to be quiet.
Yeah, you're quiet now, but I've said something.
You guys can still hear me. Right?
Doesn't look much different than the STA-2, though.
Ooh. I'd say it's more closely related to the Type 60.
Better now.
Yeah, Type 61.
Yep, that's the number I was looking for. So, from what I read on the dev servers, and I did look a bit into this, it's basically the prototype for the Type 61.
They put it after the Type 61. It's at
Yes,
6.7.
The main reason for this is because the only difference between it and the Type 61 is this has an auto-loading mechanism inside.
Garbage, but
The
Ah!
Type 61 doesn't. So you, oh wow, look at that zoom.
Yeah, the zoom's something else.
Oh, this is bringing me back to the Object 268. Now, the auto-loading mechanism isn't actually really anything to get excited about. Because it's still it's 6 seconds. It takes 6 seconds for the auto-loading mechanism to load.
That's not much worse than a regular human loader, though. I mean, and it's reliable regardless of whether you have a loader alive or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, though, is it? Because we don't know how Gaijin's going to model. Because if you actually look at it, the French tanks, they have their auto-loading mechanism modeled in. I'm not seeing any auto-loading mechanism. All I'm seeing is a shelf on the back of the turret, which would be easy for the loader to slide the shell into the breach, which is exactly the same as what the Type 61 has, or Type 63, or whatever it's called.
They may not have done the internal modeling yet then.
Yeah, but one thing I do love,
Oh, Rick.
this roof mount. This 50 cal.
What's not to love about a 50 cal?
Yeah, I know, but look at its elevation. It's an anti-air gun. It can point, like, I'm pretty sure that is at least 89 degrees up. Am I right? Because that looks like 89 degrees.
Hey, I got.
Yeah, I could definitely see that as being 89 degrees. It's practically there. You could
That's
almost
like windshield, although-
you could almost engage something straight above you. Almost.
Just find a little bump. You don't even need a hill, just find a bump. Or a plant.
Yeah, drive up on like a stick.
Yeah, drive up on a stick and you're good. But anyways, one downside I will say about that though, the gun shield on the 50 cal, I have a feeling that if something like, say,
Hole break it or something.
5 slams a HE shell onto the top of that, that's going to wreck your turret. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that.
Okay, engineer glasses.
It also has a heat FS shell that does 320 millimeters a pin.
Yeah, it's the same 90mm gun as the Type 61 gets.
Okay, yeah, we got the sniper against other snipers. I'm okay at snipers sometimes.
It's the exact same 90mm gun, 90mm Type 61 cannon.
I used to be.
The only difference is there's an auto-loading mechanism on it. Armor-wise, it's got heavier armor than the Type 61 on the turret, on the front, but it's weaker on the hull.
Maneuverability is decent, but not particularly special. Speed, again, same thing.
Yeah, maneuverability and speed are kind of going to be the same as the Type 61. It's going to handle basically like the Type 61, really. So, don't expect anything like a frontline pusher or a tank that you can get into ambush positions. This is just going to be your second line tank that supports everyone else.
It's going to be a garden variety medium tank.
But, again, 6-second reload time compared to the 9-second Type 61 at the same BR as the Type 61. The SDA-3 should, because I mean, let's put it this way, the Type 61 arm has never done it any favors.
That is also true.
So the fact that the SDA-3 gets slightly less arm on the hull, which is the easiest point to go through on the Type 61, doesn't really matter. The extra
Did I hit you here in a second?
what is it, 35mm of armor on the front of the turret might do it favors. I say might, but again, no promises there, because it's not an armored tank. It's not designed to take hits.
Can you teleport
No.
in?
It's basically just armored enough to shrug off, your garden variety auto cannons you'll find on lighter vehicles.
Yeah. But other than that,
Now I'm curious, who got the final blow?
yeah, it's to shrug off like 20 mil and stuff like that.
Right.
That being said, through the front hull at 10 meter range, or basically at 50 meter range, or very close range like that, and R3 T20 or a Whirlwind could go through.
Yeah.
So But
died twice as soon.
yeah, should be interesting.
That's kinda how
I'm
I go
definitely
with
gonna take that out for a
Guys
spin
twice or whatever.
when it reaches live servers.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Because I feel like the 6-second reload time could make it something to be reckoned with, because that's what kind of the types
You take that classic
61's lacking. It's lacking everything. It doesn't do anything good,
well, you get really
but
good
it
at
doesn't
one class,
do anything bad. It's kind of a mediocre tank. It's got meh maneuverability, meh speed, meh firepower, meh reload speed. But the SCA-3 should bring the reload speed up from meh to good.
What I'm running is to be basically a hybrid tank.
To my stream watchers here, I do apologize. Apparently, something went wrong with the streaming software. I think I've resolved that. You should be up to current when you see it in just a moment or two here.
How many viewers you got?
We got 3 viewers today.
Hey! Alright, so what else is new in
Yeah, but I didn't know about
tanks?
it. That pirate just walked
The
off.
last thing is the CCKW 353 M45 in the Chinese line, which should be another SBAA, which is just like
I
the French
believe
one.
this is just going to be like the French one, yeah. The
It is.
although it's not looking exactly. Oh, actually no, this is an M16.
Yeah, it's an M16, but on a French truck.
Yeah, why did they call it the CCKW? That just made me think it was the French.
I'm launching TF2.
That made me think it was the French. Going to be a French CCKW 353 with the 40mm. They lied to me.
Yeah, it's an M16 effectively, except for on a different truck chassis.
Yep. Right.
Resistance to that.
So, I don't think we need to test drive that. I mean, the CCK's got horrible maneuverability as it is. But the M16's firepower should make it at least a good AA gun for a change.
It's rank 2, it's 2.3. It's a good spot for that type of AA gun.
I'm trying to use other
Yep.
cosmetics because this
I
is
mean, the American M16 is 2.3 as well, so. Alright, so I believe now the last thing is helicopters.
That's because you don't have anything better.
Yeah.
And that
Yep,
is
and that gets us into Italy.
Say, I'm eating bread tonight. Like,
So Italy's
Yes.
basically getting a Huey with snap rockets as their ATO. And then they're getting a that's gonna bug the hell out of me because I know the name of that aircraft.
You're talking about the A109 EOA.
My head's didn't go to.
Yep.
Yeah, the Red Sea. There's a spiny bee next to you.
The Westland. It's
Yes,
got a word in front of it. Name.
Augusta.
Yes, thank you, Augusta Westland. And then the A129 we already know about because it's been their premium for a while.
Right. And then we got the A129 CBT.
Yep.
Schwanky.
So what does the Augusta Westland get? Weapons wise, so we get whoa wow.
Whoo, that is a lot of rockets.
Yes. That's what I was about to say. I did not expect so many rocket pods. Alright, so we got 4 toes and I feel So it's saying 14 Mighty Mouse rockets alongside 4 tows, which means that either that is a bug in the secondary loadout and it's meant to have that many rocket pods, or is meant to have 14 rocket pods. I kind of want to see that with the. I kind of want to see that with the like second loadout, you know?
Yeah.
Cause that's lots of. Nah, I reckon that's a bug. It's gotta be. No way can a helicopter have 14 Mighty Mouse rocket pods with 19 rockets each.
See, Jacob. If I can't see, I can't
Or
play.
28 starters, which is its top one. You know?
Let's see. 14, you say? Let's see. One,
No,
two.
it can't fit 14. Look, I'm looking at the pylons now.
Yeah, I'm
it's gonna
looking at
have
it.
The unless it's going to have the welcome lights that they did in Independence Day on the helicopters, like those.
Yeah, the huge. Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, you know, okay, we'll just call that it may not be final at this point.
Yeah, yeah. So
The A29 CBT looks interesting, though, with Mistrals, Hydras, Tows, Stingers. Interesting variety. And its lineups look a lot more realistic for the vehicle.
So, what did I miss? Was it here when you were doing the F-86F?
F-84F. F-84F.
F-84?
Yeah, F-84F.
Yep.
Before the F-84F, I just talked about the PBM-1 and the A-7D. So you were listening to everything else. Yeah, Mariner.
The PBM one?
Yes.
Where is it?
American Tree, low tier.
Low tier. Hello.
I'm moving to it now.
Ah, found it. The Marina.
Mariner.
Potato.
Not in that case.
So, 1,000 pound bombs and 500s. What BR is this thing? 2.0? That's not bad.
Not bad for the BR, that is true.
But it's a chunky lady.
It is, yes.
Although I do like the waist turrets.
The turrets are kind of interesting. They're an odd arrangement.
Yeah, especially to say this is a flying boat. You know?
Yeah.
You got a tail turret, you got 2 waist turrets, a top turret, and a front turret. If this thing takes off and it's got a belly turret, I'm gonna be amazed.
No, I do not believe.
Doesn't the PBY have a...
No, it doesn't have a belly turret.
Not belly, but I thought there was one... Yeah, but that's out of the water, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot it was up out of the water. But, well. Right. Well, I believe that's it.
That it is. That's all the see what we got. Then we go on to ships.
Nope. Anything new for the... Well, there is. Isn't there? So...
The Germans get the SMS von der Tann.
Yep.
Dean, how are you?
The Russians get their MPK Project 12412.
Right. Britain gets the HMS Invincible.
Yes. But just for one quick second, the Russian MPK, quite an interesting looking ship.
Well, hang on a second. I'm going to take a look at the von der Tann real quick. Just a fast glance.
Yep. I'm just taking a fast glance at the Invincible.
Okay, and we'll go to Russia. Oh, that goes into the coastal fleet. Let's see. Preview.
I think it is a quite interesting looking ship. I do.
Yeah, it is kind of an odd design. What is that superstructure over where the propellers would be?
Hang on. Sorry, I was just quickly checking China. Then I remembered they don't have any boats. But then I saw the new ZTZ-99.
They don't list that on the list here. Yeah. I'm looking at the MPKPR 12412.
Yep.
That armored-looking box just hanging off the back of the ship. What is that?
Yes.
Armored-looking box. Oh, that.
Jedi?
Looks like it's something that Arnold Schwarzenegger should be saying, "Not a Tuma."
I'm guessing that might be a
Favorite villain?
ammo room, maybe.
Hanging off the back of the ship?
Well, my question is, in front of that, what is that? Are those SAM launchers?
Yeah, Clone Wars cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, those tubes is what you're looking at.
There's the 4 tubes, yeah. And then I just noticed the things that are to the left and to the right of those tubes. What are those things? The ones that are kind of folded down on the side, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting, odd little thing, isn't it?
I mean, looking at it, we've got a 76mm automatic cannon, which is obviously on the front.
Right.
Then we've got a 30mm automatic cannon, which
Is on that
the
back end, yeah.
Which, looking at it, is actually bugged right now.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was looking at it floating above the turret.
And then we've got 4 torpedo tubes to either side. And then we've got the
Right.
ability for... Oh, hang on. Oh, it's mortars. Those four tubes on the back that we saw first, they're mortars, because I've just gone and looked into its secondary weapon. SET-40 says it's a mortar, 71 kilograms, travels 260 meters per second, and has a TNT explosive mass of 32 grams.
Well, there you go. You also have depth charges, mortars, and torpedoes.
Yep. Although that's funny, the RGB-12 says that they are RBU 1200s. So.
Yeah, that is that.
There you go.
Interesting. Right, and then Italy's got ships. And they are getting a new Blue Water Premium.
Hang on a second, I gotta drop at the Invincible for a moment.
I just watched Marco Real floppy.
So, again, sticking with the 305mm guns.
Are you looking at the Polo right now?
No, I'm looking at the Invincible.
Invincible, okay.
Yes, because you said you were stopping there, so I thought I'd just
Okay, yep.
stop there.
Looks like only 4 turrets, and you can only bring 3 to bear at any one time.
Yep. 6 guns to bear at any one time.
Okay. Alright, let's see. What's your analysis real fast?
It's going to be, well, actually looking at it, it's going to be a bit weak on the fire. No, it's not. Sorry. Yeah, it's going to be decent on the firepower, on the fact that you're always going to have 6 guns minimum to bear.
Keep getting to people.
Except for when they're on your front left or front right, at like your 11 and your
Scott, read the chat.
1 o'clock
Read the
positions,
chat.
then you'll only be able to get 2 turrets to bear, which is 4 guns.
Wait,
So it's lacking a bit in the firepower department when you're coming across ships that are able to bring like 8 or 10 guns to bear. But judging by its armor, which is
Looks like a fairly typical all or nothing layout.
well, actually, if you actually take a look, there's no top deck armor. But
Yeah.
if you look at the X-ray, other than the ammo elevator, everything else is below the 19mm armor. It's going to be vulnerable to plunging fire. It's got a decent speed, 42 kilometers an hour, which is going to be faster than the other dreadnoughts.
That's like his third kill ever.
But then
because he
again,
walked
this
up
is a
to me
pub
with the force
cruiser.
of nature. I shot him
Not
once,
a
I shot
actual,
again, and he barely survived.
battleship.
He popped two into my
Right.
chest.
So, yeah, should be interesting.
All
I'll
right.
be able to take on the cruisers quite easily. Going toe to toe with the battleship, probably
Use
not
ammo. Why
recommended.
did I grab that?
Probably not.
Do have torpedo launchers as well.
It is listed as 6.0, so you are going to end up against battleships on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
Oh crap.
Yeah. You've got 4 torpedo launchers
No, I
by the looks of
can't.
things.
I literally cannot.
2 to the stern facing port and
It's what I
starboard,
need, too.
and 2 to the bow facing port and starboard again.
Calculator and
So-
medicine, yeah.
Okay.
You do have the ability to
Yeah, I know. Why
kind
did
of
I pick
cover
up
your ass
ammo?
in close range against a battleship, but don't forget the battleships
No,
also,
like, I
or
picked
the
up the ammo box.
dreadnoughts as they call them, also have torpedo launchers facing the
Maybe
exact
pick
same
up the
way,
Dead Ringer supplies ammo box.
so they can torpedo
No,
you as
because they
well.
don't make noise.
Right. Okay, let's move on to the Pola.
Which is Italy.
Italy, yes.
Now,
Yeah, but it makes
Less
sound-
powerful
Look.
guns.
this is a battleship. This is not a dreadnought. This is a battleship.
Oh.
No torpedo launchers.
Right.
Yeah, and then that demo killed me because I was trying to destroy it.
Like you
I
said,
switched up my loadout to be a little
less
more
powerful
versatile.
guns.
I grabbed the
actually this could be like a very heavy cruiser.
I would peg it more as a heavy cruiser myself.
Left 4 Dead
Yeah,
2.
looking at the size of the guns, it's a heavy cruiser. Although if they put bigger guns on that, then you could easily say that's a
Oh, yeah.
It could easily classify as a battleship.
Keep drinking your sign, buddy.
Armor-wise, again, is actually quite light on the armor. Fuel tank at the front is completely exposed, and so is the one at the back. So it's going to be very easy to set this on fire. Speed's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shell-wise, shell is for the fact that you're at 203 mil, and you gain
What's your job description?
284 mil of pen at 7,500
That's not your
meters.
job
It's pretty good.
We'll be relying on getting reliable penetrating hits, though, I think, from what the
No
looks of
capping
things.
on high power.
Not a lot of. Well, are the. Okay. Anti-air armaments, a bit of a
By the way,
doozy.
always kill us right
It doesn't
before we
look
go back
like
into
much, but
spawn.
those
We have
100
to
mil
really
turrets are
go
dual
through.
purpose, and they do have few shells.
Oh my
No,
heavens.
it's
Yeah,
not
that would
in,
actually make a big difference if you could bring the
right
100
after
millimeters to,
that.
to bear on
So I
aerial
spawned in a
targets.
lot.
But they're not proximity.
Yep,
They
that's
are
what they do.
Mm.
fuse.
Right.
But the AI should automatically sort that out for you.
The 37 millimeters, I think, are going to be the big anti-aircraft kicker, though.
4 duals, 4 twins, and then you've got
Yep.
4 twin 13 mils as well, which are essentially the same as 50 cals. Downside is that's not actually a lot when you think about it.
Hey, Jacob.
If you take the 100 millimeters out of the target, you don't have a lot of anti-air.
Oh,
So if you've got your 100 mils set to
Oh my gosh, there's
like
an engineer.
armor-piercing shells for ships, and you're getting dived on by an aircraft,
Yeah,
you're
sure.
gonna be a
we
bit
have
screwed.
a sentry at
It's
their
our engineer.
I reckon that this is going to be.
I don't like him, then it's me.
I reckon this is going to be a high maintenance ship where you're actually having to constantly redo what your AI is targeting, and you're going to have to micromanage each individual gun. Because those secondaries, you're going to have to micromanage between having them dedicate to anti-air or dedicate to ship or mix as both. Because let's face it this way, if you're getting UC aircraft multiple aircraft in the sky, you're going to want to dedicate those to anti-air with the fuse shells. Just because if they don't, and you leave them as mixed, shoot down air and ground alike, or air and ship alike, then the aircraft are going to find it very easy to get to you when those are shooting out a boat nearby. But overall, it's a very nice looking ship.
They like to think that.
Spy fire up, spy fire up.
Does he look like Deadman?
Fire rate's not particularly good. It does look like they're letting you test sail it,
Which is the fish?
even though I don't have any Italian Navy.
Well, it's a premium, isn't it?
Oh.
Yep.
test sail to
You're right.
fly any premium. So, right, I just need to nip AFK for about 5 minutes.
Alrighty.
But I believe we're done. So,
Yes, indeed. I'm going to, apparently I had a glitch in the video, so I'm going to go back and quickly review the things that got skipped over, so that people can see.
right, well, I shall talk to you in a bit.
Yeah.
Righto, see you in a bit.
Being mentioned. He's dead. Oh, yeah, sure. If you'll come here.
Gabrielle, looks like we got the Gabriel, I should say. We've got the ZTZ 99 right here. Battle rating 10.0. 125 millimeter cannon. Let's take a look at what the armor looks like.
Respawn time.
I would say it's going to be relying heavily on its ERA armor, from the looks of things. Otherwise, the armor is not particularly robust beyond that. Let's see, speed is... not on this screen, apparently.
I love that flare gun.
72 kilometers per hour. That's pretty good, actually. Turret rotation speed is decent, and reload is decent as well. No problem. Happy to help. For the items, let's see. It looks like the video caught on the Hornet. So let me back up to that spot in my list here. So we'll back up to here. Hornet Mark 1. That means that you haven't seen the V11G.
Yeah, I'll fix it. Can I have the medium health pack? No, they're all good.
China. There we go.
Yo,
We'll
they
do
got
that.
engineers trying to set up the big health pack. We, as
V11 is listed as an attacker. Its ordnance options are kind of crappy. Got a 500 pounder or two 250 pounders. For a 1.7 battle rating, yeah, I mean, you could do worse. And my guess is that it's probably going to be a sluggish one.
Really acted like a spy.
And while you do have a couple of 30 caliber, machine guns, you're going to have a hard time getting this onto most targets. So that's a V11G for China. Thankfully, we actually caught most of this stuff before. Most of the talking before then. Let's see, Italy, France, Germany, and the U.S. all get F-84Fs, which I've already mentioned earlier. You wouldn't have seen the Swedish Saab 105. This one's a cute one. It's got some good ordnance options. Let's see. I'm just bringing it in with the cannons, but it also has options for air-to-air missiles, which are kind of fun, actually, and some ground ordnance here. This thing pops off the runway in a hurry.
And he's in it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to back off for a little bit to feel it. Oh!
It's basically the upgraded brother of the SK-60.
He was like searching for me.
Hi, Mitch. Welcome aboard. We're just finishing up here. There were some sections that the video got cut out of, so I'm adding in quick previews of the items that were talked about but had no video supporting it. So
And he was up against the wall. It was right here, and he just got in front of the wall.
love this roll rate on the 105 here.
Yeah, spy me. Spy me.
And speed is good.
Spy Pyro.
Acceleration is good. This is an up-engine version of the SK60,
I'm gonna explode
and
cats
I
by
think it's
snipers.
going to be a lot of fun to fly.
Yeah, that happens. You just have to know how to get out of spawn. Where is it?
And those 30 millimeters are oh so effective.
Well, no, duh, they have a level 3 there.
We just double teamed it.
Yeah, the air-to-air missiles, even though they're longer range, you only get a short burn on this particular aircraft. So you only see them for a short distance, and then they're kind of relying on their momentum to get them the longer ranges. They're a lot of fun. So how much of the meltdown are they going into on the forums, Mitch? I haven't looked yet. While you're doing that, let's see. I'm trying to remember about when that was mentioned. Let me see how long ago that was. I think you probably haven't seen the ground vehicles, so I'll quickly run over
I like to
those.
love this stuff like artillery.
Germany's getting a new AA gun.
Head back to spawn and get the direct prep because, yeah. That's
The SDKFC 251-21.
11 health. It only had 11.
Now, I'm horrible with AA guns right now. I'm out of practice, and German guns always drive me up the wall.
Mark.
I'm getting me a direct schnitt, so that way I can, yeah.
Me too.
What do you do?
Man!
User left your channel.
You want to get a hit, I can't seem to do. Yeah, okay, I can see yeah, that being a concern.
Alright.
They seem to be really capable air-to-air missiles. Though, how many 262s would you actually go against with those?
You mean our guys pushing on our card?
We'll take a look at that in a moment. We'll take a fast look at the information here on this. Looks like 37 millimeters of pin. Oh, 50 mils. If you can get the 50 mil pinning rounds into this thing, that might actually do some decent work on BR tanks as well. So, the 251-21.
There is a spot.
Pop it back in again. You'll see kind of how the maneuverability is. And Mitch, I'll jump back over to the 105 and take another look at those the BRs and missiles. Die, you stinking airplane! All these blasted rounds, you'd think I must be going just behind it or something. Yeah, I give up. It actually maneuvers pretty well, although it does not hold speed in a turn very well. That said, for a half track, it does a very good job of spinning around in one spot. Yes, it is a spicy one, isn't it? It does do a good job taking out barrels and tracks, and I mean a really good job of it. It's going to be really annoying going up against these. Speed is moderate, decent. Die. Oh, elevation is poor. You kind of lose about, I'd say it's only about a 70 degree. Ooh, die.
Destroy their crap.
Look at the front work sentry.
Really? A tree? Sheesh. Well, I hit it a few times, so I'm happy enough with that. The reload seems kind of funny right now, and I don't know if that's on purpose. It seems like they're having one gun still able to fire while the others reload. And I don't know how on purpose that is. So, we'll have to see how the final version comes out. Because the guns seem to run out one at a time rather than all at the same time.
Well, I'm sure he's got some sort of contract he wants to finish. Either way, we're happy.
Now take another fast look at that 105 again. We'll play with those RB24Js real quick here. Test flight. Let's get a couple of thems in. There's not a version with 4 of them, but you can get 2. And a couple of air-to-ground missiles. Let's get this thing in the air and get it on the 6 of this airplane in a hurry.
I got him, he got me.
I'm gonna get myself. Hey, let's go and kill Barney with the push and shove the barn to. I don't remember anything.
Okay, Mr. MiG-15. Now, the first time I fired one of these at a range, it did not impact the target, but he maneuvered soon after that, so... It's kind of a bad angle. I'll do a quick shot on him. Ah! It worked! Yeah, these things are going to be nasty. Once you get this up to speed, it actually handles a lot better as well. So keep that in mind. It's a fun aircraft.
Keeping it's like, I want to win. Why?
Oops! I'm not supposed to blow myself up.
I need to win. I was wondering, someone come and kill me.
Oh yeah, I like the maneuverability on this thing. I got to get this.
You get back here, you little fuck.
Preferably without blowing myself up too.
Oh, no, he's in fire right now. I've got that spots.
If it's that good, they're gonna bump up the BR. You know that. You know the 8.0. I like it at that spot just because it is slower. But you're probably right. It's probably going to get bumped up eventually. Now let's see the next thing on the list real fast. Bumping back. Saab, it's Germany. Japan's getting an STA-3. .7 BR. It's supposedly the predecessor to the Type 61, and that makes sense. I think it's got supposed to have an autoloader. Supposed to. It's when I test drove it a little earlier, it was a little bit doggy, a little bit sluggish. It does have a heat FS. That should be pretty good. 320 millimeters of pin. Turret rotation is decent. However, the top-mounted 50 cal has a great elevation. Let's see if I can show this off here. There you go. Nearly straight up. I mean, just about as close as straight up as you can get. So that thing will be a lot of fun to shoot down unsuspecting airplanes with. That said, everything else about this tank is pretty much just middle of the road, mediocre, typical medium tank material. The speed is moderate. Maneuverability is sluggish. Turret rotation's only okay. Probably when you get it on a fully spaded crew and get the tank fully spaded, it'll be a little more responsive, but it's going to be a decent tank. You're not going to be slugging it out first, nose to nose with anybody, but you could be hitting the flanks, getting into a decent sniping position. No stabilizer either, so good luck making shots on the run. Also, that's my kids in the background making all kinds of noise. Yeah, it's going to really surprise some dive bombers. Now, Atlas, I did not know that the 105 was still used by the Swedish acrobatics team. One problem with the SRAMs and with the RB-24Js, if you're that close up on somebody, you could probably shoot them down with a gun as well, because you're that close. Okay, China got another AA gun as well. It's basically an M16 on a American M16 turret on a French-style chassis. Let me pop over there.
I'm gonna run a Bad Box Panic and pickaxe.
That should look pretty familiar to any American player and any French player from the combination. Because that looks like a French truck to me, a CCKW. And that looks like an M16 turret.
Alright, got 8 down. Yeah, just do it, yeah.
So there's that. Let's see. The Italy's getting a little baby helicopter tree, in case you missed that. Just the 3 so far. This looks like a typical Huey with Italian armaments on it. But not a lot of options. But that might change depending on what it looks like in the end. That said, this is the I guess sort of reserve helicopter, so it may not change.
That demo just murdered.
And this one here is an Augusta Westland. Now, check out these secondary weapons right here. I can't believe they found a way to cram this much stuff onto this little helicopter chassis. So I suspect this is still a work in progress.
I don't know where that sentry is.
Otherwise, it's a normal for a helicopter in every other way. That's at 9.3.
I believe it.
And the top deal right here, the A129 CBT.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's going to be a long run, but at least they only have 3 helicopters to deal with. So,
I know.
that's just not going to be any fun for them. The A129 CBT's got the normal stuff for a helicopter. The secondary weapons are much more realistic quantity-wise than the Augusta Westland. So, some Hellfires, some Stingers, some Hydras, some Mistrals, Mighty Mouse,
Yeah.
Toes. I mean, it's a good mix here. And again, I do apologize. My kids are playing games in the background, so you're probably hearing them make noise. But yeah, it's going to be just like any of the other helicopters. If you're starting with the reserve helicopter, it's going to be a long road to travel to get to the next one in the line. Especially with, let me see, 390,000 research to go in that. Yeah, it's going to be a bear.
Because you suck. No, I'm just kidding.
And I don't think the top end helicopter is all that special. That's going to be the real problem. At least they have a helicopter tree now, though. I mean, it's a start. All right. Is there any other questions about what's coming up in the upcoming
What's that
patch?
The blimp that exploded because it had so much hydrogen and it shot up. Yeah, it's called the Hindenburg loadout. No.
Okay, looks like the new track setups are. They're doing the components of tracks are going to have separate segments, treads, each of which is physically accurate. When it shows a track, the tread will break at that exact segment. And the broken tread animation will depend on the length of the falling tread. this is going to be limited to a fairly short list of vehicles that are going to start with it. T-34-76 and vehicles based on the chassis, T-34-85 and self-propelled guns on that chassis, the KV series and also similar self-propelled guns, IS-1 and 2 series and also SPGs that are based on it, T-80U and T-80B, T-10A, T-10M, Object 268, the M3 Lee, M4 Sherman series, and self-propelled guns on those same chassis except for the assault versions of the Jumbo. T-20, the M1A2 Abrams, but it's not listing the other Abrams, so those will probably be coming later. The AC-4 Thunderbolt, B-1 BIS, B-1 TUR, ARL-44, Ram-2 QF 3.7 Ram, Challenger 2, Sturv 103, Leopard 2A4 through 2A6, and the equivalents in Sweden. The Type 90s will both get them. The Leclercs will also, well, Leclerc, whatever you pronounce that thing, they'll get it as well. New change here, ground vehicles with a folding ATGM launcher now have a speed limit of up to a maximum of 20 kilometers per hour to begin firing. The launcher may be unfolded to begin firing immediately after reducing speed to the max limit or lower. That includes the M901, the 9P149, and the M3 Bradley, which will greatly help all three of those vehicles. The 901 couldn't fire on the move. The M3 Bradley, they have messed with that so many times I can't even tell you what its last status was. And I'm not familiar with the 9P149 offhand, but at least it'll be getting some of that ability to launch on the move as well.
What happened is that so he killed me and then got killed.
Some other fixes include armor and damage model updates on a small selection of aircraft. The BB-1 and SU-2 are getting updated flight models. They fixed the AI gunners firing from overheated guns, so maybe they won't jam them so often. Alexander, give me a moment to run your question through the translator.
I am not used to this gun.
Oh, okay. He's asking, how can you make a lot of Eagles? Well, go to wagers and start running the wagers that provide Eagles, and that's the main way. When I'm going to actually search for Eagles, that's the main way I do it, is go and grind out some of the wagers that provide Eagles. So you can also go through the some of the tutorial missions that are available. Some of them actually will provide payments in some methods. Unfortunately, I've done them, so I don't remember what they all paid anymore. Silver Lions, I think, mainly, and some of them, I think, did Golden Eagles, but it's been a while.
I hate how many sentries they have.
Why there's so many Dead Ringer spies?
A129 CBT. Let me go take a look here.
Jacob, there's at least 4 Dead Ringer spies. How and why?
The A129 CBT has got Hellfires, Mistrals, Hydras, of course, air-to-air missiles and Stingers. Let me see, what else have they got? Mighty Mouse rockets.
Wow. Nice one, Mark. Oh,
Hellfires. Let's see. Here's the. I mean, really, just kind of take a look. I'm going to scroll. I'll scroll this slow. You can take a look.
92 sentries.
Guns? Oh yeah, they all have ambassadors. They all have ambassadors. They all have the spice book. They all.
Did not know they provided Eagles for writing Thunder Wiki articles.
Oh gosh.
And that's your A129 CBTs there.
How about all engineer?
Well, interesting.
No, that
Did
one-
not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them cap.
Well, thank you very much for sharing.
Just let them cap so we can get the sentry. Never mind.
What if?
Let's see. Other changes.
Oh, Max.
Some changes to physical damage models on the Westphalen, Graf Spee, Hipper, Prinz Eugen, bunch of ships there.
Let them cap.
A bunch of odds and ends fixes in naval visual models and visual parts. Let's see. Anything else interesting in here? Okay. Any other questions in there before I call it a day?
I'm gonna go to
Ooh, I just feel like playing the
yeah.
freaking ends.
I know there's a little delay between what's going on the stream and when I'm seeing your comments, so I'm going to give you a list just a little bit longer here.
Oh! Ow!
He got angry. He got angry. He wants the cap himself.
Who? Who? Just let him cap.
Just like Ethan had said, go ahead and let them cap.
Woohoo!
All right, here. All right, thank you very much, Mitch. I'm not seeing anybody else jumping on for additional questions. Thanks again for joining me today, and we'll just have to see what else they put out from Gaijin coming up for the next big patch. Let me know what you're looking forward to out of all the interesting things that have been added in this much smaller patch, which again I'm surprised they're cramming it in before the end of the year, or they do have Operation Winter coming, so that might be happening middle of January when Operation Winter is over. They don't typically patch in the middle of an event, so we'll see. They seem to be cramming a lot of stuff in right here at the end of the year, and best of luck to them. Hopefully it all turns out. And on that, thanks for joining me. Have a great day.
What's illegal?